Warriors.
Wow.
Grand High School.
There are a few Warrior fans left. Well,
All right, guys.
go.
Pete, just what has been your working relationship been like with Chip Kelly and being on the same page in terms of what the both of you want to do on offense?
We've been working together through the whole time, and Chip has a world of experience that I've counted on throughout, and we're always working to continue to grow together as much as we can and be representative. We've been disappointed too with the last 3 weeks, with what we've done. We had a fantastic week in between that, so we're trying to get it right.
In terms of right guard, is Alex Kappa slotted right into JPJ's spot, or is there a competition this week?
Well, we know we can do that, because Alex has played for us, and we know we can do that. We have guys competing at the spot. We're trying to give guys an opportunity to show what they can do, make sure we're making a good decision. We feel secure that Alex could play that.
What does Caleb look like this week in preparation? What does he look like this week?
I haven't seen the film yet, really. I mean, we've had one practice that was, not a padded practice. After today, I'll have a better feel. Sorry.
Pete, is there any extra significance to a matchup when it is a franchise like the Cowboys and it is a Monday night game?
Well, there's something special about Monday night, regardless of who you're playing. That's the truth. It's prime time and all that. Everybody grew up watching that and enjoying the heck out of that and picturing themselves someday being part of that. The Cowboys have always had a special thing about them. Jerry Jones and the family did a fantastic job of raising this franchise to the level that they're at, and they're a tremendous, international brand. We are too. And so it's a good matchup in that regard, and hopefully we can play a really good football game.
You guys are playing two rookie wide receivers pretty extensively now. What are some of the challenges of that, and how would you say that those two have?
There are challenges to that, and it's the smallest issues when they come up, and it's not like, can you run an out route and catch the football? There's so many other things about blocking and positioning and getting other guys open and all of the complementary things that go along, as well as special teams. And so those guys are growing, they're getting a lot of play time, they're getting a lot of opportunities, and it's all going to pay off. Both our young guys have a good head on their shoulders, and they learn well, and they're figuring it out. But it's just growing pains, and we have to get through it.
You look at that as an investment that eventually pays off?
Well, with all young guys, to me, if you guys have heard me say this, that we want to play them early and want to see where they are and try to get them to the midpoint of the season where they have some background and experience where they can play like regulars. And so, we're kind of there. This is where we turn the corner on for the second half. And I've already mentioned that to those guys, that this is where we count on them to come through and be cleaner with their assignments and sharper and just on it better than they've been earlier. And hopefully that's what we'll see down the stretch.
So you have a previous working relationship with Brian Schottenheimer. When you watch the Cowboys on tape, what are some things that you notice that are indicative of his coaching style and philosophies?
Well, he was an offensive coordinator for us, and he's been a great coach. He's a great family background. His dad is one of the guys that I have the most respect for the way he styled his coaching and all of that. Brian has his own way. What's really, I think, his stamp on this team right now is the offense. They're really functioning at a high level. They're ranked highly in almost every one of the critical categories. Points, yards, all kinds of stuff. And I know that's where his mark is. And they made an effort this past week, to go get Quinnen and to make a statement that they're trying to make sure and help the defense. And that's a franchise at work. They're trying to figure it out. So. But I think that's Brian's, that's really what he owns. He's an offensive guy from the start. I think it sounds like, everything's working out, and they're trying to figure it out just like everybody else is. And so I wish them the best.
You mentioned that move about Quinnen as well. When you watch him on tape, what are some things that you have to, worry about with him?
Yeah, we haven't seen him play with him yet, of course, and so we went back and looked at other film. He's a fantastic player. That's why they went after him and gave up a lot to get him. And everybody wants a three technique, and they're hard to find. And there's a handful of guys that really dominate the position. He's in that group of guys, so he's going to make them better without question.
Pete, for you personally, how do you internalize a 9-game stretch like this? And does like the thought of job security or your future with the organization, does those thoughts?
Let me hold on before you get to that part of the question. Let me answer the first part of the question. The first part of the question: how do I handle it? Not very well. It's been crappy, and this is not what I expected to happen, and I didn't feel that we would be this far behind the start of the season, and so we're just trying to keep driving the messages home and trying to get better each week and do some things that we can build from. And you know, it's a kick, it's a block kick, it's an OT catch, it's a, you know, there's 4 or 5 games here that could have flipped just like that, just with just small margins of better play and better execution, better calls and all of that we know, you know, and so, but unfortunately, it still is what it is, you know, and then we have to deal with it. So I'm not very well versed in being in this situation, and I don't have the experience about that, and I'm happy to say that, but I don't like it one bit, and it's been hard. And so, fortunately, the coaches and we keep grinding with their players, and we're communicating well. They're communicating well with us, and we're keeping it together. And it's like the next opportunity feels like it's going to turn. So, as Mom said, you know, something good's just about to happen.
And going to the second question,
Let's go on to the next guy. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. What is it?
I was wondering, when you're dealing with something like this, like the thoughts of job security or your future organization, do those thoughts ever creep up, or do you?
No, I don't think like that. You know, I really don't. I can't go there. You know, it's been 20-something years just in these last 2 opportunities head coaching that hasn't been in my mind at all. So I'm not going to start now.
Do the goals and objectives change though? Like you said you haven't been in this situation very much. Is it a development mindset now, or is it still just
No.
same mindset?
No, you either have your philosophy or you don't, you know, and the next game is the biggest game we could possibly play. It's a championship game, and whatever happened the week before has nothing to do with what's going on now. And that's a mentality that we're trying to drive home to find an uncommon consistency about the way we perform. And so that's what this is. It happened to be last week. You know, I built it to these guys. This is an opportunity going to Denver to play in a road setting where a team's on fire. It's just like a playoff setup, and the fans were going to be crazy, and it's a primetime ball game and all those things that go along with it. Well, here we come back. Now it's a chance to do that same thing at home. And so I'm building it for these guys so that they know they've been in these situations, so that we can learn to be comfortable and play like we're capable in these settings, regardless of what the impact is or what the story is, you know, and the storyline is. So that's something we've been working on for years, because you're trying to find, like I said, this consistency that allows you to perform like you're capable, regardless of the circumstances around you. And that's what this presents to us. And so big wins can affect your mentality and your mindset just as much as big losses, difficult, outcomes can. And so we have to learn how to deal with all of that and come right back to it. So, you know, in this building right here, I mean, we come right back to the very next game, the very next opportunity. So does it help us deal with, losses? I don't know. We'll find out how we go here, but we have a way to do it, and we have a way to prepare ourselves to deal with the next opportunity, and that's a really powerful thing when you're trying to build a winning program.
I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but it feels like you're
really
saying,
good chance you won't.
It feels like you're saying that not just for this year, though, that this is an investment that you're making for years to follow, the foundation that you're trying to set.
I can't even think of anything else than that. Yes.
You guys did bring in another kicker this week. I guess what was the thought process behind that, and what's the plan?
Competition. All about competing.
You do expect Daniel to be kicking this week, though?
I expect that. You know, he's competing too. He needs to do better, and he knows it. And we're just like always. Johnny's going to keep bringing us guys to give us a chance to keep pushing and seeing how far we can take it. And that was what this decision was about.
Pete, what are you hoping to see out of the offense? I believe the final 8 games of the season. What are you hoping to see out of
Well, yeah, we need to get consistent. We need to find a consistency. I mean, 2 weeks ago we were gaga over the performance that we had, and Brock's return and all of that. And I figured we was pedal to the metal. And unfortunately, we come back in this past week. Denver, one of the best teams in the NFL on defense, one of the sackingest teams in the NFL on defense, and that we couldn't get going on them. And so we'll see. Was it Denver? Was it us? Is it Dallas? Is it us? We'll find out as we keep going. But I'm expecting us to get better and more consistent.
All right. Do you feel Chip Kelly's done to the offense?
He's working hard at it. And he's working with the guys he's got and trying to make the very most of it.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Pete.
Good afternoon.
Are there certain traits rookie wide receivers have in terms of how to bring them along in their transition to the league and what they all kind of represent?
That's a great question. I think, everyone's learning curve is different in this league. And, whether you're a rookie or a 10-year veteran, there's a lot that we all can get better from and continue to learn from. And so, for a young guy, I think it's really, really exciting because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot they don't know, and there's a lot of room for growth and improvement. And so we have some young guys on this team, on this offense, and, those guys are learning and growing. It's just that they're learning kind of like I did when I was a rookie, learning in front of the world. I mean, that's really what it is. And, you make those mistakes or whatever you may call it in front of the world, and you learn from it. But, a lot of other young guys, they get to learn in practice before they actually hit the field on game day. And so, I think the traits are you just got to study and you got to work hard, and I think those guys are doing a great job. Jack and I, we're watching film 6 a.m. every morning, in order to get that done. And I think there's going to be a lot of progress that is made.
How's the quad? How are you feeling after a few days of rest?
I feel a lot better. Alex Guerrero, training staff, they've done a great job at, just staying on top of it, and obviously not, completely healed yet, but, feels a lot better.
There's been losses here, multiple, where it's just the smallest details.
Mm-hmm.
What's the lesson in that, and what's the challenge to make sure that those things are met?
Yeah, shoot, man, you can only learn so much from like a loss. I really think that the lesson is that you got to make the play when the play needs to be made, and that goes for all of us, and myself. More importantly, I just got to make the plays and allow, the guys to be themselves. And, for me, again, it's a small margin of error in the NFL, and one play could be the difference in the game. But that's why you got to focus throughout the entire game. And when the plays are there to be made, you got to make them. I mean, that's the name of the game.
Logan Wilson hasn't played for the Cowboys yet, but as you prepare for them, do you go back and look at Cincinnati tape, or do you look more schemes with what the Cowboys do defensively?
Yeah, I mean, you start with what the Cowboys do in their scheme. They've got a lot of other players that we've got to make sure that we have an eye out for. But yeah, Logan Wilson, they just acquired Quinnen Williams, a guy who I played against a bunch, and a great defensive tackle in this league. He's been a perennial All-Pro, perennial Pro Bowler, and for those guys. Of course, I'm going to watch, the Cowboys, but I'm also going to, go back and watch what they've done in their past and just try to see how they can fit into the scheme. Again, we'll have to see on game day what it is, but I think we have a good idea of what they'll be in.
How much has Tyler brought to the team in the offense since he's gotten here, and how much has he, if at all, kind of filled a void with Jacoby being outgoing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can ever fill that void. I think Jacoby was just such a special guy, and he did a lot around here, and he was well respected in the locker room, and guys really loved him. Tyler's his own person, and again, Tyler is a veteran who's played a lot of football. He's caught a lot of passes. He understands defenses. And I think that will help the younger guys. If you look at Tyler, he's not the most, he's the most unassuming guy. You wouldn't look at him and say he's had all the success he's had on the football field, but he's done it because he can play from the neck up, and that's where we want to get everybody to that level where they understand the game and can be quarterback friendly and play from the neck up as well.
Been open about, though, that you two are close, and I think he said, hey, he has some juice left. How nice has it been? What's it felt like then to kind of bring that out of him already in the short term? He's your leading receiver last week.
Yeah, I mean, he's always going to make the play when the play needs to be made. I mean, that's Tyler Lockett. It's been his entire career where he's always, been in the right spots. He understands where the holes are in the defense. And then he catches the ball. He gets open and catches the ball. I mean, that's the number one rule for a receiver. And, again, he's a guy, along with the other guys who we just want to give them the ball when the time's right. But, we've got to continue to spread the ball around and get the ball into the hands of all of our playmakers. And I think, Tyler's a guy he's gonna help this offense really, down the stretch.
Geno, I was wondering, for these final 8 games, what do you hope to see out of offense? Or, even with yourself during this final stretch?
I got to cut it loose, man. Just don't think, think too much. Just go out there and cut it loose, play your game. Protect the football first and foremost. I want, the last 8 games of the season, I want to be the best in the league in terms of protecting the football. I mean, that's really what it is. And then just cut it loose, man. We got to score points. We got to score a lot more points than we have. We got to pick it up. I know I've been saying, we got to learn and grow together, which is true. But, now's around the time where it should start to show up on game day. And so, I want to go out there and I want to play, really, really good football and take care of the football, take care of the team, put points on the board, give the defense, a lead to work with and watch those guys go hunt.
What has it been like for you embracing the leadership role as the starting quarterback with this team amid the struggling start to the season?
I think that's the best way to lead. Sometimes, when things are going great, it's easy to be a leader. But when things don't go as expected, when you have some hard lessons and you got to learn some things. That's where the leaders show up. And, for me, I feel like I'm at my best when my back's against the wall. I wouldn't say that's the case now, but, I just feel like when things are at its toughest, I just have this way about myself that I dig deep and I find a way. And I've always done that, and I don't see this as no different.
How do you feel like you and Chip have worked together?
It's been a great relationship. Again, if we make some more plays on the field, I think he'll be a lot more happy as well. But it's been a great relationship. He's a great coach. He does a lot of really good things, and he's been calling some great games. If we go out there and execute the way that we're supposed to, it'll show up on, the things that he does well will show up. But we got to make sure that we go out there and make the plays for him. He's putting us in position to make those plays, and we got to make them.
Dante had that rough drop that he was pretty tough on himself about it after the game in Denver. What have you seen from him in practice and talked to him about since?
He did exactly what I expected him to. When he got back, he was out in the field and he was catching those over the shoulder passes by himself. And I know again how tough that can be when you want to make the plays, when you want to do well. He works so hard and he does all the little things right. And those are plays that he's going to make, and I'm going to continue to throw him the ball and give him opportunities to make those plays because he's going to be a great player. He's so young, and he's continuing to learn and to grow into his NFL body. And the more he goes out there and gets those reps, the better he'll be. I'm going to keep throwing him the ball. He's doing the right things, and he's staying focused, and he's going to make those plays when it counts.
Cowboys run a lot of 5-down fronts. I'm just curious what makes it unique about facing a team that does a lot of that.
Yeah, similar to what we faced in our last game. They have, obviously they just, traded for Kenny Clark, and then they got Quentin Williams. They paid Osa. So those are the three of their, great guys on the interior. They want to put them on the field, and so, those guys, they present a lot of challenges up front. They're all great players in their own right. But we got to, that's every week in the NFL, and we got to hold up front, block those guys up front. We got to dominate the line of scrimmage, and then, the playmakers got to make plays when it counts.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Somebody who played high school ball in Texas, is there a little more juice when you get to play the Cowboys for the first time as an NFL player?
I wouldn't say it's any different, obviously, growing up there. But, it's still just another game to go out there and, try to get a win.
They just traded for Quentin Williams. They got some big guys in the interior of the defensive line. What kind of challenge is that when you got to go up against a team?
Yeah. They got some great players up front. Obviously, adding Quentin, he's a great player. So, obviously, we just got to be better up front and, be ready for those guys. And, we know they're probably going to want to play more of a 5-man front, so we got to win our one-on-ones up front.
You mentioned the 5-man fronts there. Just what makes it unique as a running back going against a defense that does a lot of those 5-man fronts?
Yeah, as far as running the ball, you're not really going to have double teams. And then really, it's not really much different for me. Obviously, some of the runs will hit differently based on, just not having the same, run blocks. And then pass protection, just knowing, hey, they got those 5-down linemen, and pretty much I got everybody else.
When it comes to Monday Night Football, is it anything? Is it more special of an event to you, being that it's Monday Night Football?
Yeah, it's exciting, of course, but it's still just another game. Another opportunity to go out there and win.
The margins for error at this level are pretty tight, basically. Have you kind of learned that in terms of watching the NFL up close the way you have now about how the details, it's the small details at this level?
100%. The details are, everything, and, you may not think it's the play where you messed up, but more times than not is that play that, can change the game, in a bad way for you and your team. So, every single detail, every single play, matters. But even if you do mess up, you got to move on to the next play and make sure that the next play you execute.
How did you reflect and kind of internalize the bobbled pass that led to the interception in Denver? How'd you reflect on that?
Yeah, I got to be better, keep working on my hands, and, I'll make sure that never happens again.
That's good. Cool. Thank you,
Yep,
Ashton.
appreciate it.